Same thing. I listen, when we were closed down, I sat on my patio one night and I told my wife, I said, I think I'm going to lose.
What if I lose everything?
And I don't know how I'm going to make it. And I don't know, you muster it up, you fight through, and you just keep going. And what sometimes things just work out. And that is the other option, right? Is that you could look at all the bad things that might happen, but one of the potentials is it might just work out. And here we are, right? 10 years later.
That's awesome.
It is difficult, but I don't know. To the younger generation, listen, chase a dream. Listen, we're on this planet once, and the end is coming for all of us. And if the end is coming, why are we not all running towards our dreams and chasing something?
Right.
In other words, make a statement in the world, leave a mark, do something amazing. If you hate the politics of the world, then get your ass in it and go do something, right? Don't hate to say, but if you're going to bitch and complain and you're not going to dive in and make a difference, shut up, dive in.
Okay, we are here at the art gallery on Fifth Avenue, owned by Michael Procaccini, and this is our very first podcast launching All of the Above. We were a little bit apprehensive to start originally, so we got a little push. We pushed ourselves. We woke up this morning and said we're just going to come and do it. So here we go.
And what amazing, I mean, Michael, once again, I don't want to push past what we just were able to kind of get from Michael. I mean, he's just, what an awesome guy he is. And you know, I will say, you know, without certain people pushing us, I think we wouldn't have gotten to this point. But I mean, once again, we're here at just an amazing spot. I mean, look at this stuff. It's. I wish, you know, we could do a panoramic so you guys could sit here and see what we're seeing too. But it's just an amazing place. And once again, if you like art, even if you like art a little bit, this is the place to be. It really is. And I could sit here. We could sit here for hours just watching and walking through and taking it all in. But once again, huge thank you to Michael for having us here at his art gallery here in Naples. And let's just dive into it. Let's jump into it.
You know, we want to welcome all of you viewers to All of the Above. My son had this great idea when he was in grade school, and all these years now he's in his 20s, early 20s, and just had this idea, and he said, hey, let's do it. So I built the website, and I thought, why not? Let's just, you know, father and son kind of situation. So we're going to be talking about every topic under the sun. It's not A, it's not B, it's not C, it's all of the above. Today's episode is going to be mostly focused on why most people never, ever begin with their dreams.
Yeah, what we touched with a little bit with Michael is just a little sneak peek. But yeah, today's episode will be about that, and we kind of just want to dive into it. I feel like it's a subject that fits. You know, it fits exactly our scenario that we're going through right now, and what we're doing today. So
yeah, it's amazing. You know, when we were talking about this episode, I realized everybody has a dream. I mean, now I'm starting my 70s, in my early 70s. I actually have a birthday tomorrow. I turn 27. I just flip the numbers around. But it's amazing that when we're kids, when I remember, you know, being a kid and growing up, I used to be like, yeah, man, I have a dream. I want to do this. I wanted to be whatever, a musician or a drummer or, you know, what have you. And I think that's how it is, right? Like, you probably had dreams when you were younger. I mean, obviously you had a dream to do this podcast. So what do you think people have? Like, all these different dreams. How is it that people have all these dreams, but the majority of them never come to fruition?
yeah, it's kind of how we touched based on earlier was, I think it's just easily accessible with knowledge now. And I would say, if I had to touch base on how I feel, it's I overthink a lot. I mean, I overthink just, heck, even the simplest things is just waking up in the morning and doing, you know, certain tasks, whether it's, you know, brushing your teeth, whether it's, you know, taking the trash out, what have you. You know, it's just overthinking it. And a lot of the times with overthinking, you're thinking of the you're not really thinking of the end result. You're thinking of all the work that has to be put in to get the end result. And for me, it almost takes away from it. Almost steals the part of being able to achieve the goal. And like Michael was saying earlier, it's going to be hard no matter what you do, because as the famous quote goes, anything worth having in life is not going to come easy. So I think a lot of the time is the biggest part is a lot of people overthink a lot of things that they do.
So the question that we would ask to our audience is, what is your dream? What things have you wanted to do? I know I mentioned a couple. You had some different dreams. So what are some of the dreams that you have? Because what's preventing you from getting to fulfill those dreams, or what's preventing you from even starting? And we came up with 3 things. And one of the key words that we realized is fear, right? Fear. What type of fear? Like, what examples did we kind of talk about that people use fear? Fear of what?
I think there's a different couple of types of fear. I think, for some people, it could be a fear of being embarrassed, maybe, feeling embarrassed, not being accepted by certain people. I think a lot of people will look at it as something that they have a magnifying glass pointed to them sometimes. That they're being watched and being judged or being critiqued. And I'm going to say, let them critique you. Let that be a thing that happens, because I'd rather have people critique us on something that we don't see ourselves. So having that outside perspective is actually a good thing, because you can only see yourself through your own eyes. You're living your life through your own eyes. So you don't get to see what other people get to see from the outside in. And so take those critiques from whoever it is. And even if it doesn't sound like a nice one, take them, because at the end of the day, you gotta level yourself up. You have to take care of yourself. And if you want to achieve that dream, take all the information in. Take it all in. I mean, what are some things that growing up, I mean, even for you, I mean, it's different. I mean, your generation was night and day for the things you guys had access to. I mean, what are some things you guys had access to or you didn't have access to that we have access to now? What are some things you could take today that you wish you had when you were getting out of high school?
I mean, I remember I had fear from my parents, because if I asked them, hey, can I borrow some money to start a business? Or I remember when I was like 15 to doing my first recording, and this was in Boston, and the studio owner wanted us to pay a certain amount of money. I think he was going to charge us like $1,000 or something. And back, when I was 15, $1,000 wasn't just like chump change, it was like, and my parents didn't want to loan me the money, because the guys in the band, everybody was trying to just ask their parents, hey, can you help me start a dream? I mean, my dad used to tell me stories about his dream when he asked his father, my grandfather, if he could start a business. He wanted to start a vegetable produce business in Boston, and that was huge. And he got turned down by his father, and so it kind of squelched his desire, his dream, and he never really got over it, I guess. So, I didn't want that to be the case. So I was persistent enough to at least get a chance to go in a recording studio. And then, I kept learning and just eventually, got to the point where I started seeing results, but it's still just with myself, becoming a better musician, understanding the industry. I mean, there are a lot of things that you have to grow with time to get better at, to get skilled at. So, and, let's be honest, Eli. I mean, today, a lot of people just get comfortable, right? You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like they fall
Yep.
into this trap of, I'm good. I don't need to follow through on my dream. So what if I can't be an artist, or so what if I can't, be a doctor? So what if I can't be a pilot, or whatever their prior dreams might have been? They just kind of let that slide, and they say, oh, it's okay. Someday, when the timing is right, or after I save enough money. And how can that be overcome?
I think jumping into it. I think the cliche or the most common saying, just do it. Just do it. And the thing that I kind of keep in my head is they say if you count to three and you don't do it, you're never going to do it. You're going to jump into a pool and you count to three. If you don't jump in at three, you'll never do it. You'll just convince yourself not to do it. And there's no need to really count to three with certain things, but I think just doing it, and no matter what it is that you're doing, and in I mean, we're kind of on the topic today of wanting to help influence people to be able to start their dreams. And the other thing is, maybe your dream doesn't need to be. Maybe you don't have to get everything right with how you're doing it. And the thing that I look at is, you may do it, and you might not even like it. But how are we gonna find out if we don't like something if we're not doing it? It's like, you wanna go start a business, start it. You may like it, you may not like it, but you won't know until you actually take that step of actually starting a business.
Yeah, there's something to be said about waiting. What's the cost in waiting? And I did this little mapping out in 5 years. So let's say we do a podcast, like our goal is to do one podcast a week, as an example. So if we accomplish that and stick to that goal of one podcast a week, in 5 years, we will have performed or had recorded 260 podcasts. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, that's a big number. But if we don't do anything and we never launch this thing, in 5 years is going to come either way. So instead of having 0 podcasts at the end of 5 years, by doing just one podcast a week, we'll have 260 podcasts. And that's sort of the reward that we would get by just taking action. Kind of go into a little bit of why we decided to start all of the above.
Yeah, that's a great question. So yeah, we kind of, as Dad was saying earlier, for me was I did kind of have an idea when I was younger, and I mean, everybody wants this. It's almost cliche to say it, but everybody at some point thinks or talks about starting a podcast, and I think you should. I really think you should. I've listened to plenty of other podcast channels that say the exact same thing. Just jump into it and do it. But yeah, we had the idea, and we wanted to jump into it because I feel like it's only fitting for us to do it. I mean, we're great at talking, and if you're great at talking to people and you like to you have stuff on your mind that you want to talk about, do it. And we have a lot of interesting things. The idea of him being able to talk about a lot of the things he's gone through, and he's gone through a lot of amazing things, and his perspective on certain things as well. So I think it was a pretty good idea when we came together to say, you know what, let's do this thing. And Michael kind of just gave us the tap on the back and said, hey man, just do it now. And it's no longer a thought. And if you're seeing this, it's no longer a thought. So
It's really cool. If you're a business owner and you're seeing this podcast, the way we wanted to set this podcast up is to be mobile. So instead of having people come into our podcast studio, like on Joe Rogan or Theo Vaughn or some of these other podcasts that you see out there, we are coming out to you. So we're going to come to your business, interview you, promote your business. It's a win-win all around. Everybody.
We make
wins.
your business our studio. Put it that way.
Yeah.
We make your business our studio, and we promote it. I mean, this is today. I mean, I would say especially for his podcast, we kind of hit it out of the park with Michael Procaccini. So it's just amazing. I mean, they couldn't have asked for a better start. Yeah.
Any guess how much this painting behind me sells for? It's six figures. I'll just tell you that. This is a 6-figure painting. So you can really appreciate that downtown Naples, where we wanted to start this, was kind of exciting because Fifth Avenue in Naples is full of businesses that just are off the top, off the chain. People come down here for vacation. They have to visit Naples. The West Coast, the Southwest coast of Florida is definitely an amazing place. Just all you have to do is just come down here. I mean, the restaurants are off the chain. Our goal is to go into different businesses and interview the owners and then have a different episode on each one. So each podcast, look, we started this because of stories. Everybody has a story. Every single person has a story. And that's one of the reasons why we like doing these podcasts. Nobody knows exactly what they're doing when they begin. And that's sort of how we thought it. We're going to make mistakes. This is our first one. I'm sure if you're hearing this, if you're seeing this, this is going to be available as an MP3, right? And we're going to have it available to watch. Our website is
alloftheabove.show.
Right. So if you just go, I think you have to put in the HTTPS semicolon / and then alloftheabove.show.
No, we don't.
No? Okay.
Yeah, just type it in exactly how you see it, and you just add a .show to the end of it, and you'll get us.
Yeah.
And you'll see our faces, and you'll see a little bit more about. It's actually a great website, I will say. But you'll see a little bit more about why we started it, what it's about, and how you can possibly, in the future, have us either have a show at your location, or if you wanted to be a guest, reach out to us, because that is the whole point of this. Is we don't like being limited to one subject. Life isn't just one subject; it's all of the above.
It's all
So,
of the above, yeah.
we want to bring to you everything, all of it, and we want to get everybody's take on it, not just our own takes. So everybody perceives things differently. Everybody has a story. We want to hear your story. We want everybody else to hear your story because everybody's story is special to themselves.
So we're going to wrap with the 24-hour challenge for all of you out
I
there.
love this challenge, guys. I love this challenge.
What dream have you been putting off? Is there something that you've been wanting to do?
Have you been wanting to start a bicycle company? Have you been wanting to maybe go kayaking and start a kayaking business, or maybe start a charter business? What is it, guys?
Yeah,
say it out loud right now. Write it down. Write it down. What's that business? What's that dream? It doesn't even have to be a business. What's that dream that you're wanting to do? Write it down.
Right. I mean, everybody's now doing something on TikTok, or they're trying to start a side hustle. Do you have to buy a domain? Buy that domain. Do you have to make a call? Make that call. You want to record a video? Do it. Write the first line. Create the page. Whatever, just do it. That's the 24-hour challenge.
Just do it, guys. And you're going to have to put in the work no matter what. Unfortunately, life is not easy. And especially if you got a dream you want to do, if that dream is worth chasing, chase it. You're going to have to put some sort of work in, whether it's big or small. Put the work in, guys.
There's a great quote. It's, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to become great.
Yeah.
So we're giving you a permission slip.
That's our permission slip. Go ahead.
Just go ahead. Start and subscribe to our channel. We're going to be on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook for at least for now, for starters.
Yeah.
So be able to listen to us. You'll be able to watch these podcasts.
Put us on your car ride to work. Put us on maybe in the morning. You're doing your morning routine, maybe your nightly routine. You just want to listen to us. We'll be there, and we'd like to get some feedback from you guys as well.
Follow us and share all of the above. And with that, we'll see you on the next episode.
See you guys. Take care. Hey guys, this is Elijah here, and this is my old man, father,
Staying young.
and we are All of the Above podcast / show. And today we are going to be talking with a great minded person, I would like to say, down here on Fifth Ave in Naples, Mr. Procaccini, Michael Procaccini himself. How you doing today, Mike?
I'm good. Good morning. I'm glad to be here with you guys. Excited for you.
Heck yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, we kind of had this idea to start this podcast, get everything up and running, and it's kind of just been an idea, a thought. But you know, a little over 2 weeks ago, maybe on the dot, 2 weeks ago, I believe it was, we came in here, we talked to you, and we pretty much just took it from there. I mean, this is where we're at. We're here. We're recording. This is our first episode, guys. First episode ever. Going to be going live here, hopefully here soon. But kind of wanted to touch base on a couple of questions for you. One of them being, what really got you into wanting to do art in the first place?
So I'm a photographer. I'm a self-taught photographer from Ohio. And one day I had realized that I had enough of the snow and the ice, and I was finished with it. And I decided to move to Key West. And when I got down to Key West, listen, that's where it all began for me. My photography evolved. I met so many friends and artists that are still my friends today. And we opened our first gallery down there about 10 years ago. And it was successful. And we're now here on Fifth Avenue and really excited to be here for sure.
That's awesome. I guess the snow melted as you came down here, huh?
Yeah, listen, the rumor's true. It doesn't snow in South Florida, for sure.
Maybe in North Florida, randomly. But yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, that's awesome. Well, yeah, that's pretty cool. Anything you wanted to add to it?
I remember something that Michael said when we were talking about this goal that we had. And he said something interesting because it ties in nicely with our episode today, which is why people never start their dreams. And you remember you said something interesting, like you gave an example of, imagine just always thinking and planning, but never just doing it. And a lot of times we feel like that has to be just right, like the timing isn't right, or this isn't right, or whatever. What made you to be an action taker?
Listen, that's it. It really is this. I do believe that you have to research, right? I get it. I understand that research helps us, but I have to tell you, I have just always been the person to dive in. Some people would say prematurely. However, you know what? I dive in, I run 100 miles an hour. I make mistakes. I mean, lots of mistakes, and then have to correct the mistakes, right? But I've made 6, 7 mistakes while people, friends that around me that were talking about doing something are still planning it. So I love what you guys are doing. I love your diving into this. And you know what? Dive in, make 6 mistakes, fix it, keep going, but get started. Just do it. I mean, not to do that phrase has been stolen so many times, but it's true. Just dive in and go. I love what you guys are doing.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that, and I was just like, that's kind of the main thing. I mean, especially on today's topic that we're going to kind of touch on is about why a lot of people, like you said, don't really start their dreams, and at any age. And it's not necessarily, a dream can be anything. That's the greatest part. A dream can be, I just want to move to Florida and get away from the snow. A dream can be, I want to be in an art gallery someday and be able to have my, creations, my imagination that I put on a canvas. I want it to be able to come to life. And so what are some steps that we can help others take, and even help ourselves down the road continue to take, to make sure that, in a sense, we're taking advantage of every opportunity that comes our way? Because I feel like a lot of people get an opportunity and they're just so caught up, because I've done this plenty of times, they're so caught up in their head and they're so overthinking things that they just don't see the opportunity as an opportunity. I don't know if you've run into situations at all that have kind of been like that, but I mean, what are some things that allowed you to get to where you're at now? What are some things that you're like, hey, you know what? I had to overcome this that maybe we could use that could help us down the road, could help other people that are struggling with the same thing down the road to be able to eventually achieve their dream that they do have.
It's such a good point. Here, I do believe that there is something you have to be careful of. So, really intelligent people, good friends of mine, great backgrounds. So, they're researchers and they dig in, right? So, they come up with this incredible dream, but they research it and they dig in so deep that they find out it's really hard. So they find out how difficult it is. And I think sometimes that scares people from starting. And listen, I think sometimes you got to just throw it aside and just dive into something that's a little unknown. There's somebody had said one time that the difficulties of business, the obstacles, the hurdles, the things that go wrong, are really what keep a lot of people from trying. And listen, I opened the first gallery in Key West. I opened it up in our big gallery in 2017. I had to board up in 2 days for a hurricane coming. 2 days. And it wiped business out for about a year and a half in Key West. And I didn't know I was going to make it. Then we had a pandemic. Then I moved here to Naples and I was here 9 months and we had a hurricane in Naples and we had boats on Fifth Avenue, right? Come on. I had to shut down here for 3 months to remodel.
Wow.
So what do I do then? I open up a gallery in Sarasota. 9 months after opening, the city gets hit with two hurricanes, double back to back. Listen, I have to tell you, there was a moment I wanted to curl up in a ball and cry. But you know what? I got to tell you, you just fight through it. There's a woman, Angela Duckworth, wrote a book called Grit. And I got to tell you, everybody should read this book. Because if you don't have grit, then you can't dive in and try to chase difficult dreams. But you've got to have grit. And I know you guys have it. That's why you're starting this. I'm excited for you guys. Are you kidding me? This is amazing.
That really is one of the big factors is fear. And just in preparing for this episode, we actually looked at some of the things, and fear was one of the number one reasons why people never get started. And I mean, the idea of other people seeing you fail possibly, and the word failure isn't even something that is a bad thing. Actually, failure is a good thing because it's learning. It's going through that failure, and then seeing, okay, now I have to do this. I have to change this. It's just, if the fear paralyzes you to the point where you're never going to take any action, then like what you did is amazing. And by the way, just so everybody knows, Michael is so genuine, and one of the things we like about meeting people like yourself, and this is sort of a vulnerable way for other viewers that are watching this, is that you opened up your art gallery, just because of an idea. And you came up with a really cool concept too, which we'll talk a little bit about later in this episode, and why we decided to launch this. So you kind of gave us a really cool little push or tap to start this. So thank you.
Oh my gosh, of course. So, listen, I think building a business and what you guys are starting is not going to be easy. But Joey, you said it. So listen, we don't learn anything from absolute wild, simple success. Everything I've learned is from, pardon the way I'm going to say this, getting my ass kicked from time to time. And everything here, setbacks are learning. They're just learning. And when things go wrong, you learn something. If you opened up a business and it all went smooth and it was, listen, you wouldn't learn a thing. You wouldn't know how to handle it when real problems come. How do you survive a pandemic, right? I mean, so many businesses went under during that, and we fought through it. And same thing. Listen, when we were closed down, I sat on my patio one night and I told my wife, I said, I think I'm going to lose everything and I don't know how I'm going to make it. And you know, I don't know, you muster it up, you fight through, and you just keep going. And you know what? Sometimes things just work out. And you know, that is the other option, right? Is that you could look at all the bad things that might happen, but one of the potentials is it might just work out. And here we are, right? 10 years later.
That's awesome. And like I've heard this said in the sports world and so many athletes and so forth, that quitters never win and winners never quit.
That's a fact. Wow. Yeah, it's exactly right. Again, it goes back to absolute grit. And here, don't get me wrong. You know, it's difficult. If somebody's out there kicking around the dream of starting their business, and they have to know going in, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be a fight. But you know what? It's, I hate, again, the things that everybody says all the time. You know, the worthwhile things in life are difficult, and you got to grind them out and fight through it.
That's it, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, definitely, especially with the younger generation and even older generation, but especially the younger generation. As time keeps going on, and as the younger generation keeps coming on, you know, it's something that it's about having a goal and really being able to understand it's not going to be easy. You know, you're not going to be handed all the answers, and it's just like, you know, getting a test in school. You know, going through a trial, you have you have to learn and you have to test yourself. And the greatest part is you can get tested, you can fail the test, you can learn more, then you can take the test again. But like you said earlier, one of the things that really resonated with me was you said that you failed. You tried something, you got a quarter of the idea, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to run with it. And you failed, you got back up, you failed again, you got back up, you failed again, you got back up, and you just kept going forward. And you kept learning from those things. And so one of my biggest mottos is I never believe in failure. I believe that you either win some or you learn some. Because you take a failure, and you turn it into a teaching, and you learn from it, and you keep going. And like you were saying earlier, you know, you'll fail 6 times before somebody that's sitting there has to, you know, plan everything out, and you'll fail 6, 7, 8, 9 times. And here you are already starting your idea while the other person is still planning it. And it's like, you can plan your whole life, and then by the time you take that step, you could fail instantly right off the bat. And then what are you going to do? What are you going to do that you've planned this whole way? It's you're going to fail no matter what. So you might as well fail with little knowledge and eventually grow it and keep going, than fail with a lot of knowledge, and you're going to get the same result either way. You really are. So I wanted to ask you though, what's something that you could give if you had to give a piece of advice when it comes to starting your dream that you think would help resonate with the younger generation? If you were talking to someone like me, even younger, somebody that's just coming out of high school, what's a piece of advice you could give them that would help resonate with them, that maybe you wish somebody told you when you're coming out of high school, maybe even still in school, you know, and you're so focused on whatever it was you're going in school, and you never had the time or maybe even the chance to think about, you know, especially when I was in school, we never really had the opportunity to really think about what we want to do when we're outside of school, because we're so stuck up and focused on school that by the time we get out of school, we're like, whoa, this is a big world. What am I going to do? What's a couple of things that you would maybe tell yourself, tell now generation, on help maybe motivate them and help them, let them know that it's not, you know, it's not this crazy big world. I mean, it is, but maybe a piece of advice to guide them when they get out of school, or maybe even while they're still in school.
Yeah, wow. Okay, what a great question. You know, it's funny, generationally, right? So we're sitting here in we're a couple of generations, right? I mean, I'm right between you guys. Listen, I don't know if we had an advantage when I was your age in that we didn't have the information that you have today. And sometimes I wonder, right? So the 20-year-olds of the world today, you have so much information at your fingertips. You can research something. I mean, research it up, down, in, out. And maybe the reason that it is difficult for younger people today to dive in is maybe it's the research. Maybe you have realized how difficult it is, how hard it is. And maybe back in my generation, we didn't have the information. So I blindly, right, blindly dove in. I don't know. Listen, I got to tell you that you can't let, and Joey, you said it before, right? The fear of being paralyzed. um, Listen, you got to dive in, and you just got to dive in and go for it and do something that, listen, you got to make money. So, the whole theory of, do what you love and the money will come. I get that. I mean, I'm doing it. I'm in a world, the art world, my photography and the art world and the artists I work with, I love every day. I love sitting right where I love when I walk into my galleries in the mornings, I breathe, I smell the smell of paint, and listen, I love it. It is, but it is difficult. But I don't know. To the younger generation, listen, chase a dream. I mean, listen, we're on this planet once, and the end is coming for all of us. And if the end is coming, why are we not all running towards our dreams and chasing something? In
Right.
other words, make a statement in the world, leave a mark, do something amazing. If you hate the politics of the world, then you know what? Get your ass in it and go do something, right? Don't I hate to say it, but if you're gonna bitch and complain and you're not gonna dive in and make a difference, shut up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dive in. I don't know, like what you guys are doing. Come on, you're starting something that how many people talk about starting a podcast but don't do it. They sit on the couch thinking about it and planning it, coming up with ideas. Come on, just go. That's my advice.
That's great.
Dive in. I mean, go run 100 miles an hour to your dreams. I think that's one life. We're here once, and you know what? We're not here that long.
Thank you for that. That's great, Michael. So we're here today at this amazing art gallery in downtown Naples on Fifth Avenue. So how can people find you? What are your hours? And just how would you like to promote your galleries? Because it sounds amazing. I mean, you could just, if we had all day, we could just go through and, oh man, the artwork here is just, it's off the chain, man. I'm just looking around, and obviously, you see what's behind Michael, that alone.
Right.
So how can we find you? How can people?
So we are, as a group, we are the Procaccini Galleries. Our website, you can go to our website. It's interesting, right? Our website is Art on Duval, which is our first gallery.com. We're Art on Fifth.com, and we're Art on St. Armands.com. Listen, the reality though is we have this beautiful website that nobody uses. And it's interesting. Art at this level, you have to be close to it. You've got to see it, get close to it, smell it if you can smell the oil coming off the canvas, but you've got to be close to it. So we open the galleries in really great locations. We're in the center of Duval Street in Key West. We're right here in the center of Fifth Avenue in Naples, and we're on St. Armand Circle in Sarasota. We've dropped the galleries where it's easy to get to them. Come in, spend time. Listen, that's us, and come by, visit, enjoy the galleries. In Fifth Avenue, it's so great. We have our collectors, clients. They come in 6-7 times a season because they want to see what's new, because everything changes all the time.
Wow. That's awesome. You guys heard it here, folks. And yeah, I mean, Michael is such a awesome guy. He even brought up the idea originally to allow us to film in here, and he was more than willing to do so. So the doors are open, and come check them out if you're in the area. They have some amazing artwork, and like he said, it never changes. It's always something new. If you like art, this is the place to be. And what are all the locations you guys do have? Are they all just in Florida?
Yes. Right now in Florida, we're in Key West, Naples, and Sarasota.
Beautiful. Well, if you guys are in Key West, Sarasota, or Naples, swing by, check them out, and we'll go ahead and also be sure to tag your guys' link below, and we'll make sure we can spread the word and show people that like art, connect with people that like art.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.